In the heart of the ancient African kingdom of Mboma, nestled deep within the lush valleys of Benue, there lies a realm steeped in history and legend. Known far and wide for its rich culture, vibrant festivals, and powerful warriors, Mboma now enjoys a golden era of peace and prosperity, living in harmony with its neighboring lands. But this peace was hard-won, emerging from the ashes of a dark and turbulent past. Generations ago, Mboma was ruled by a proud and ruthless king whose ambitions knew no bounds. His thirst for power led to unending wars with neighboring kingdoms, leaving a trail of bloodshed and sorrow in his wake. His cruelty was unmatched, and under his reign, the once thriving kingdom was plunged into chaos and despair. The gods, angered by the king's arrogance and the suffering of the people, cast a curse upon Mboma. They decreed that the land would one day become desolate, its rivers drying up, its fields barren, and its people scattered to the winds. This curse was a heavy burden, a shadow that loomed over the kingdom for generations. But time is a powerful force, and as the years turned into centuries, the memory of the curse faded into legend. The people of Mboma, having endured and rebuilt, slowly forgot the ominous warning of the gods. They reveled in their newfound peace, unaware that the curse still lingered, waiting for the day it would once again rise to claim what was promised. Now, as Mboma basks in the light of its prosperity, the forgotten curse stirs in the shadows, a silent reminder of the kingdom's dark past. What was once legend may soon become reality, as the people of Mboma are about to learn that the past is never truly forgotten. But as the story goes, there lived two princes of Mboma, Akor and Oche, the sons of King Edachi. Although half-brothers, they were inseparable from the moment they could walk. Akor, the elder by just a year, was known for his strength and wisdom, while Oche was admired for his quick wit and charm. The kingdom flourished under their father's reign, and it was clear that one day one of the sons will take the throne. But behind the peaceful facade of Mboma, a dark storm was brewing. Queen Enai, Akor's mother, harbored a deep-seated ambition. She had always believed that Akor, being her son, was the rightful heir to the throne. Yet, she knew that the king loved both sons equally and might choose Oche, who, despite being the son of a concubine who died, was adored by the people for his charisma and kindness. Queen Enai's heart had been forged in the fires of betrayal and loss. As a young girl, she witnessed the brutal murder of her beloved brother, the only family she had left, at the hands of those who sought power in their crumbling kingdom. Hiding in the shadows, Enai's innocence was shattered as she watched the light fade from his eyes. The once grand halls of her home were reduced to a battlefield, and in that moment, she learned that love and loyalty could be as fragile as the shattered glass beneath her feet. Haunted by that night, Enai vowed never to be vulnerable again. The memory of her brother's lifeless body drove her to pursue power with relentless determination, believing that control was the only way to protect herself from further loss. To her, power was not just a means to an end. It was a shield against the pain of betrayal and the agony of grief. It was this belief, rooted in her tragic past, that fueled her every action, turning her heart to stone as she wove a web of deceit to secure her son Akor's future. Determined to secure Akor's future, Queen Enai began weaving a web of deceit. She planted seeds of doubt in Akor's mind, subtly suggesting that Oche was plotting to take his throne. Your brother, she would say, is not as innocent as he seems. He has his eyes on the crown, and he will stop at nothing to take what is rightfully yours. This manipulation was driven by her own desire to shield herself from further loss rooted in a tragic past. Queen Enai also presents Akor with small, intricately designed dagger, telling him it's a symbol of protection. Akor accepts it, unaware of the symbolic poison it represents, his mother's manipulation. The dagger gleams in low light, its edge razor sharp. Akor, who had always trusted Oche with his life, began to notice small things. How Oche's popularity with the people grew, how he was often seen advising their father, and how the king seemed to take special pride in Oche's achievements. The doubts that his mother had sown started to take root in his heart, turning love into suspicion. As these doubts festered, Akor found himself questioning every interaction with his brother. He recalled moments from their childhood, once filled with laughter and camaraderie, now tainted by suspicion. He began to see Oche's every move as calculated, each smile, each gesture a potential play for power. The bond that had once been their greatest strength was slowly unraveling, replaced by ignoring paranoia that consumed Akor's thoughts. Even the most innocent actions, a shared glance between Oche and their father, a word of praise from the elders, became evidence of a looming betrayal, pushing Akor further into isolation and distrust. Unbeknownst to Akor, Enai exploited Oche's dream, which Akor had shared with her after the seeds of betrayal took root in Akor, using it as evidence of Oche's alleged treachery. She forged letters between Elder Jomo, the king's trusted advisor, and Oche on discussions about changes to the Council of Elders upon his ascension to the throne, framing Oche and Elder Jomo as a threat to the kingdom's stability in order to create the illusion of a coup. The situation grew more tragic with the wrongful execution of Elder Jomo, a beloved mentor and childhood friend of the princess. Elder Jomo had been accused and killed due to the fabricated evidence of communication between Oche and Elder Jomo. His death further magnified the collateral damage of the brothers' conflict, deepening the emotional stakes. As the king's health began to wane, the tension between the brothers grew. Queen Enai's manipulations reached new heights when she orchestrated a series of events to make it appear as though Oche was indeed planning a coup, and even staged an attack on Akor's life, making it look like Oche was behind it. Akor, now fully convinced that his brother was a traitor, confronted Oche. The brothers who had once been inseparable now stood on opposite sides, each believing the other had betrayed him. Queen Enai, hidden in the shadows, watches the confrontation unfold. Their confrontation escalated, and in a moment of blind rage, Akor drew his sword and struck Oche down. Oche, struck down, collapses into Akor's hands, his eyes filled with sadness, but also forgiveness. As Oche lay dying in Akor's arms, he whispered with his last breath, "I never wanted the throne, brother, only your love." It was then that Akor realized the terrible truth. His mother's lies had poisoned his mind, leading him to destroy the one person who had always been loyal to him. Overcome with grief, Akor carried Oche's body to the king. He steps heavy with the weight of his own actions. As he entered the royal chamber, the once strong Akor was now a broken man, tears streaming down his face. The king, frail and already weakened by illness, looked up to see his beloved son's lifeless form cradled in Akor's arms. The realization struck him like a dagger to the heart. His worst fears had come true. His sons, who were meant to carry on his legacy together, had been torn apart by betrayal. The king's eyes, once full of wisdom and pride, dimmed with sorrow as he reached out a trembling hand towards Oche. With a final, heart-wrenching gasp, the king's spirit broke under the weight of his grief, and he slumped in his throne. The once great ruler of Mboma had died not just from illness, but from the unbearable pain of seeing his family and kingdom shattered beyond repair. The kingdom of Mboma was plunged into mourning. The people who had loved both princes dearly were devastated. Akor, now king, was a broken man. He had gained the throne, but at the cost of his brother, his father, and his soul. Queen Enai, who had achieved her goal, found no joy in her victory, for she had lost her son's love forever. Akor ruled Mboma with a heavy heart, haunted by the ghost of Oche. He spent the rest of his days trying to atone for his sins, but the guilt and sorrow never left him. The once thriving kingdom slowly fell into decline, a shadow of its former glory. As the people whispered of the tragic tale of the two brothers whose bonds were twisted by the thirst for power, as the vibrant streets that once echoed with laughter and celebration grew silent and empty, the grand markets, once bustling with traders from different lands, now stood desolate, their stalls abandoned and covered in dust. The lush fields that had fed the kingdom's people for generations turned barren, as if the land itself mourned the loss of its leaders. The people, once united under the banner of prosperity and peace, became divided and mistrustful, whispering of curses and omens as they watched their beloved kingdom fade into obscurity. The legacy of Mboma, once a beacon of strength and unity, was now nothing more than a distant memory, its greatness swallowed by the very ambitions that had once promised to secure its future. In the end, Akor died alone, with only the memory of his beloved brother to keep him company. The tale of Akor and Oche became a legend, a story told to children in Mboma for generations, a cautionary tale of love, betrayal, and the destructive power of ambition.